What is the limit of your creativity? In the field of photography and videography, you must first learn the rules so you know when to break them. And when you do, that's when creativity elevates. In this class, you will learn the creative possibilities of a 360 camera and how it breaks the limits of your imagination. Traditional cameras only have one lens. You point it, then you shoot. So what you see is what you get. With 360 cameras, you have two lenses, each of them taking 180 degrees view on both sides. And with the help of the software, it automatically stitches both images into one seamless 360-degree photo or video. Shooting with this camera is just super fun. You can fake a drone shot, you can do a hyperlapse, a stop motion, and many more. You can also create virtual tours by either directly uploading your videos to Facebook or YouTube, which supports 360 degrees viewing, or to dedicated virtual tour platforms that are very interactive. I believe a 360 camera is one of the best innovations of modern photography and videography. It has reawakened my passion in shooting and editing videos, and I hope in this class I can reintroduce people in 360. My name is Emjae Argallon, and this is my masterclass.
Hi everyone! Okay, sorry about that. There's a technical problem. So hi everyone! Ug maayong hapon udto di ay. Maayong udto hilongos. This is Dana, your host for today, and you are watching the PBH #Masterclass webinar series Season 1. Today, we are doing the PBH Masterclass webinar series once again in order for to raise more funds for our Project Batang Hilongosnon operations. Project Batang Hilongosnon is currently helping our students by providing school supplies and our teachers by providing bond papers in Hilongos, Leyte. And for that, in order to bring our advocacy further, we are gathering speakers from all over the world, especially our fellow Hilongosnons, in order for us to create and produce this PBH webinar masterclass and talk about skills, learn skills, share skills to other people. Not just to raise more funds, but also to create, to also provide and share knowledge to other people. And so today, we are featuring for the very first time a fellow Hilongosnon who has been very active in the scene of photography and videography, not just locally, but also in Cebu when he was still staying in Cebu, and also when and also right now as he is based in Singapore. And so for today, I will be introducing to you our guest speaker, our fellow Hilongosnon, Emjae Argallon, as he teaches Introduction to 360 Camera. So Kuya Emjae is a Hilongosnon currently based in Singapore. For 10 years now, he is an application analyst by day and primarily on Java language. And it's in his free time, he is a videographer and a content creator at youtube.com MJ Photos. He rediscovered his passion for video editing and after learning the creative possibilities of a 360 camera. His current passion project is to create virtual tours around parks and tourist spots in Singapore with a 360 camera. So without further ado, I would like to give to you our esteemed guest speaker for today, Kuya Emjae Argallon. Hi, Kuya.
Hi, hello. Hello, Dan.
Hello, Kuya. How are you today?
I'm good. How about you?
I am ecstatic because I'm also a fan of with video editing and photography. So I really, really want to learn from you today. When I thought about this webinar series, I straight away thought about you. And hopefully we can have you for today. And here you are. So we are very excited to have you, Kuya. So
Yes.
do you have any welcoming message or message to everyone who are viewing us today? We currently have 4 viewers. So do you
Yeah,
have
4
a
million
message?
viewers.
Yes, Kuya.
Yeah. Okay. So just thank you for having me here in this live stream event. It's an honor also to be able to share my knowledge, and I hope this could help few people. I can reach out people to maybe they are interested to 360 cameras. And before I move on to 360 camera, I just want to greet a good afternoon to everyone, and I hope you're having a nice day. It's another boring Saturday afternoon, and I hope with this live stream event, at least you get to learn something and just maybe learn a skill after this, and maybe rediscover some passion, maybe hidden talent on your inside of you, and let's try to bring it out and spread some good vibes.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you very much for that warm message, Kuya. So, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay, so I will be backstage watching you and learning from you today. So, let's give it up for Kuya MJ. Round of applause, please. I will remove myself from the stream. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Yeah, okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, now, so again, a wonderful day, wonderful afternoon to everyone. And this is your masterclass. For today, we're gonna be learning about this a quick introduction to 360 cameras. So a little bit of a disclaimer here. We only have like around 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours if you want to extend, but this is not an in-depth class because usually it would take like around 12 a half a day, 1 full day to learn everything. But this is just to get you started on how to use a 360 camera and what are the creative possibilities that you can do with this tool, and how it could complement your current tools that you're using, your camera. So, but before that, let me start with a video which I created around 2 months ago, which I'm also proud of. And let me just play this video to kind of hype up what are the possible outcome or the videos that you can produce with this 360 camera. So let's watch this. Okay. Uh, yeah. Okay, so that's just one of my edits using this 360 camera, and I hope uh, throughout this class we can kind of a quick breakdown on how I shot some of those scenes and maybe teach you how you could also do it. So let's start. Um, First, let me show you our agenda for today. There will be three parts. First part would be the get to know. What, who, why. So simple as that. It's about what is a 360 camera and the features, and who who should use it. Yeah, the uses of this 360 camera and why should you buy a 360 camera. If you already have your smartphones, you have your DSLRs and all that stuff. So let's also dig into the pros and cons of having a 360 camera. Next part would be after this, we'll have maybe a short break. And the second part would be the workflow tips. This is my workflow. And I'm going to teach you how to set up your camera, some shooting tips. And also, we'll go, I think this part right here, the editing, would take a majority of our time, because this one I would be guiding you on the basics on how is it different from a normal video that your camera can produce. And lastly, we'll have the sharing. The sharing is more of how you can share the output of your 360 camera. What I'm referring is how you share it to a social media and maybe a dedicated website that's will cater the 360 photos and videos. And lastly, we'll have a Q&A session. So I hope you prepare your questions if you have along the way. If some questions pop up in your mind, just comment down on the comment section so we can read it later when we get to this part. Okay, so a bit of a photo here on the right side. You can see here, this is actually a photo I took when we were on our way to Pulau Ubin. It's an island here in Singapore, and it's a pretty cool photo for me. I rode in the back of this bumboat and just extended my selfie stick with the 360 camera, and you can get this kind of shot, which is really amazing. It's like a drone shot. And yeah, we'll talk about that later. Now, 360 cameras. So I think I'm not sure if everyone is already aware of this tool or this device, but it's been around for quite some time, for years now, and maybe it's just recently that it's available publicly in the consumers market. And you see here, there's a lineup of cameras available. I can't name every single product here, but this ranges from the most basic 360 camera up to the professional grade cameras, where it can be used for films maybe, or for business and large scale business, or maybe even the military or the NASA, let's say the NASA, the astronauts. So it can range from the consumers to the big businesses. And right here, the only familiar 360 camera I have here is the one from GoPro. So this one right here. So, but for today, I'm gonna be featuring mostly on this class what I currently have, which is a Insta360 1R. It is the latest from Insta360, and it's released just in 2020. And I've been reading about 360 cameras for the past years, and does this camera doesn't really convince me why I should buy one, because like I need to read some reviews. Is it worth it? Is it uh yeah, the quality and all that stuff. So I'm just waiting for the right time to buy one, because there are lots of negative reviews, like the quality and all. But I think with this iteration of the camera, it actually convinced me, because it's not just the camera that's amazing, but it's also the software and the application that comes with it. So it's not just the shooting process, but the editing process. Everything's just they made it very simple and very fun to do. So to let you show how is that done, let's get to know first the 360 camera, which is it's an omnidirectional camera that has a 360-degree field of view, so that it captures just both about everything around the sphere. So as I've said in the trailer, for a traditional camera, you only point and you see what you get. But for a 360 camera, even if you point the camera into that direction, you can still capture everything in your at the back, or everything what you don't see, you still get. So maybe later during events, or any if you're attending a wedding, it's very important like to not miss any moment. So there could be somebody being emotional at the back, and yeah, so it's just the practical application of that. You're able to capture everything that's happening at that point in time. Okay, so let's move on to the features. What are the features of a 360 camera in general? And maybe I would be talking more of the 360 feature, this Insta360 camera feature. And this is not a sponsored video, by the way. This is not sponsored by Insta360. But if Insta360 is watching or listening to this, Becca man. No, just kidding. But since we have, this is what I have, then I'll be featuring the features that I'm really amazed with this camera. Now let's start with the first one is portability. I think this is pretty obvious. It is small, it's light, it connects to smartphones, and it has a mobile app available. I think it's nothing new, right? GoPros have been around for years, and they are the leading market in action cameras. And why are they so popular is because of the portability and the durability of these cameras. And as each year passes by, they keep improving, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing. They're still the leader. I still own a GoPro camera, and I wouldn't replace my GoPro camera, because it's still my go-to camera for action. But for creative shots, I think this is my go-to camera right now. So with the portability, you have when you have a smartphone and you go to a place, uh, if you have a traditional camera, if you have a DSLR, then you would need to bring maybe an extra lens. So you would have a telephoto lens or a wide angle lens, and you would have to change this and all that stuff. And it slows you down, because you need to carry all this heavy stuff. But with 360 camera, it's lightweight. You can put it on your pocket. You can connect to your smartphone right away and download your videos and photos and just immediately share it on your social media, right? So it's an instant, it can instantly broadcast your activity. Next would be reframing. This is big. This is like the biggest thing that what the 360 camera is all about. It's all about the reframing. So what is a reframing? It's the ability to control your field of view. So for me, it's like shoot now, then compose later. What does that mean? It means for a traditional camera, if you're really if you've learned the basics of photography and videography, you would have to compose your shots, right? You would have to get the right angle, get the right rule of thirds and all that stuff. And yeah, there's a thought process in taking a photo or video. But with 360 cameras, you can actually deal with that later. You can just stick out your camera, and just if there's like a really nice place, just stick it out, and then you can later adjust what is the field of view. And by field of view, I'm referring to how wide or narrow your shot is. For a zoom lens, that is a narrow shot. For wide angle lens, that is like the wide the wide angle lens, the wide shots. And you need this kind of shots in different situations. If you're shooting landscapes, architectures, you would want a very wide angle lens to capture a building, especially if you have a limited space to step back. And for maybe some normal shots, you wouldn't want to take a very wide angle lens for a photo of a person, because that would what do you call this, uh, distort the person. Sometimes if you shoot a wide angle lens close to a person, it would make their head bigger than their body, or their hands uh, longer than their body. So you wouldn't want that. You would want like a narrow shot or a medium shot. So you have this flexibility if you're shooting a video. It's not just if if you have a GoPro which is set to wide angle lens, then all your shots would be wide angle all throughout if you're traveling. But with this, you can just adjust. You can go from narrow to wide to a tiny planet. So that is one of the signature shots for 360 cameras is the tiny planet, where it looks like you are walking on a planet, which you can see in my video, right? I think one of the intros that I have. And I will be giving you a demo on how is it done on your mobile app and the desktop application. And you get to appreciate what reframing is later. Next would be the flow state stabilization. Yeah, I think most cameras right now are going into this direction. Like they're trying to make all your footages as smooth as possible, which is this is very hard for traditional cameras, especially DSLRs. You like the professional cameras right now are putting in-body image stabilization, and that's really expensive to put it on the lens and on the sensors. But for GoPros right now and this, they use the software to make everything stabilized. And by this, if you compare this to a GoPro, this is like really stabilized because of the fact that you have you captured everything in a 360 degree. So you have the ability to control the shaking of your camera. So, for example, if I shoot with a GoPro camera and I'm just walking and my hands are shaking and then this one is wiggling, it would actually show up in the footage, even though it's kind of stabilized, but it will still wiggle. But with 360 cameras, even if you turn your camera clockwise or maybe you tilt it down, tilt it up, the field of view stays the same. Yeah, because they can just adjust the your view. So that one we will also I'm gonna show you during the editing process. And the fourth one would be another good thing about this is the artificial intelligence. Um, there are lots of creative shot templates available in their the software right now, the mobile application. And if you've watched the intro video that I showed, I think 3 or 4 shots there that were done using the creative shot lab, is shot laboratory of Insta360. Maybe you've seen the stop motion thing, the stop motion thing. If you shoot a stop motion traditional way, it would really take a lot of time. Like a stop motion is actually a picture taken one like in intervals. to a span of maybe how many minutes or hours. But with this, you can just do it with a tap, and all the AI will just do its thing, and you have a stop motion video. And I hope I can show you that later also. And lastly, another feature is the aspect ratio. You can have different export options for different platforms. Now, what are aspect ratio? It is actually the ratio of how your photo or video will look like. If you I- in general term, if you're watching a video in cinemas, they're actually in YouTube or any flat screen TV, the standard is the 16 by 9, which is the rectangular shape of monitors. But now for movies, it's more wider. That's the 2.35 by 1. And for squares, it's a 1 by 1. So it's these figures are ratios. So if it's 1 by 1, then if it's 1 inch here, then it's 1 inch here. So as you scale, as long as it's 1:1, then you have a square, right? And if you don't, if maybe you notice this, like it differs how you share your content to different platforms. For YouTube, the go-to aspect ratio would be a 16 by 9, because that is the usual video. That is the standard video for aspect ratio. But if you go to Instagram, what do you see? Most are shared on a 1 by 1 ratio, because photos are usually on squares, and videos right now, if you can see on Facebook, there are people sharing, even big businesses, even the NBA, even though they're shot at 16 by 9, they share it to 1 by 1. And if you're an NBA fan, you can see that there are videos that they're cropping the side, and you wouldn't see the scores, and you wouldn't see some part of the videos. They're doing that for the purpose of um, sharing the right aspect ratio for a platform, because people are looking at Facebook on their mobile phones. And if you're sharing it on a rectangular shape, the viewing the viewing the viewing what do you call this the viewing the way people view it will be small. But if you shared a square, then the viewing experience is bigger. And if you share it on a 9 by 16, which is a long rectangle, then it's the perfect for smartphones actually. So you can see on IG stories, the more effective IG stories or Facebook stories are those with vertical rectangular videos. So that's how aspect ratios are. And I hope I can show you that in the editing process also, how it can be done. And we're done with the features. Just a quick recap: portability, reframing, flow state, artificial intelligence, and aspect ratio. And this these are not just the features that you see the camera. These are just what I could think of, and I narrowed it down to 5 items. There are more. There are more in-depth features that are very useful, but these are, for me, are just the selling points for having a 360 camera. Okay, so I hope you that triggered your interest in the 360. Then let's move forward with that part answers the what. Now we're answering the who. Who uses it's a 360 camera in general? And I think it's pretty obvious. The first one would be mapping, like the Google Street View. Um, I don't know if everyone is aware that there's a Street View feature for Google Maps, but yeah, this is the effective way of mapping places, because you're not just looking at the map from the satellite perspective. You can actually view it closer. So if I'm gonna show you a quick Google Street View right now, or maybe later we can go in depth. But okay, yeah, never mind. Let's just do a quick one. If I want to go to Singapore Marina Bay, uh, then I would want to plan my route. I would want to plan where to go and what photos I would take, and I want to get an idea what to expect from this place other than the pictures that are posted. You can actually click on this little guy here on the lower right corner, and you can just drop it anywhere on the Marina Bay area. So you can drop it maybe here in the Merlion, and you would see a street view, a view from the Merlion itself. And see, okay, there are people here, and at least you have an idea how it looks like being here. So this is actually public. You can post, you can take your own 360 view, upload it on Google Street View, and you can help maybe people who wants to go to this place. And that's just later. I'm gonna show you more of this on the sharing part, but that's just a quick preview of it. And it's not just Google Street View. A lot of maps right now are using this. So yeah, that's a very practical use of a 360 camera. It's used. There's an official street view from Google themselves. They took 360-degree photos around places. Maybe you have noticed it in your area, but also it's available for public uploading. You can share your own personal uh, photos to Google Street View. Next would be a regarding the virtual reality. Um, if you're familiar, and I think everyone's familiar right now, you have these VR headsets, virtual reality headsets that you can wear, and you can have a virtual experience. It's like you're in that moment. It could be used for gaming, for recreation, or for marketing purpose. And this is related to the fourth one, which is with regards to virtual tour. So for real estates, for events, they're actually using this. There are sites right now, there are real estate agencies that are preferring to put virtual images, virtual 360 photos of hotels or any estates that they're trying to sell. Because if you have a company A and company B, a company A uses the traditional photos, like you have a photo of the bathroom, the living room, and the kitchen, versus a company that's posting a a 360 photo where you can click around, you can look around the area, you can see what's behind the kitchen, what's behind the bathroom, and you can experience what it's like booking that hotel or that buying that house. And I think the obvious answer would be it would go to the company B. They will perform better than company A. So a lot of people are shifting to 360 and virtual tours right now to give people a virtual reality or virtual experience. Yeah, I think that's it. And the fourth one, for this, I would go practical. It's for content creation. Yeah, it's your personal camera crew. Because um, just by looking at the video that I just showed you, I was uh, I was traveling solo, or I was exploring Universal Studios on my own, and I don't have anyone to ask for a photo of me. So what is our first option? It would be to take a selfie, right? So it's either you take a selfie with your hand or with a selfie stick. But with this 360 degree, with 360 cameras, I forgot to tell you one of the the feature, which is I should have done this earlier when I introduced the 360 camera. I, as I've said, 360 cameras shoot. They have two lenses, so each pointing to different direction. You have one here, and you have one in the opposite direction. Both of them are taking 180 degrees photo or video. So when the software tries to stitch the image, it will try to match the image on the right and the left, and it tries to match. For example, you have a line here. It will try to analyze that it should match to the line on the left. And what happens in the process is that you have actually a blind spot right here. Everything that's on the borderline of both image, you have a blind spot. And since our selfie stick is on the blind spot, the software can actually delete or remove the selfie stick from the image, and that gives you that gives you what do you call this? It makes the selfie stick invisible, and that gives you a experience like the camera is floating or it's like a drone, because it will automatically remove your selfie stick. Isn't that cool? So, um, yeah, isn't that cool? I think we will, for questions, maybe we can flash it later during the break. And I think we're on the last part. Oh no, no, we're on the second to the last part. I think about 10 minutes from now we're having a break before we start the second session. And yeah, so that's it. You have a personal camera crew. So when you take a selfie stick, when you take a selfie with a selfie stick, traditionally, if you use a smartphone, you would see this um, line here, right? Sometimes it's annoying when the selfie stick revolution. You always see this selfie stick right in your frame. Sometimes it covers your face, your friend's face, and it just ruins the moment. And now with 360 camera, you can have that subtle or a very like a candid shot without uh, knowing that it was taken with a selfie stick. So yeah, content creation, and more of that will we can experience during the editing. You can see how lots of contents can be made with just one footage. It's not just okay, I have this footage and I'll share it and that's done. One footage, you can export multiple shots, multiple aspect ratios, and multiple platforms. Okay, so these are just the basic applications. There are lots of applications for this 360 camera. There are lots of life-saving applications. Maybe it is used on the medical industry. It's used on the training pilots on how to fly a plane. If they can have a virtual experience, what's it inside the plane, and you can augment the virtual side to the real side. So when you, yeah, I'm not going that far, but you know that how it's very useful in the real world right now. Okay, and the last segment for our first part would be the why. Why buy a 360 camera, and why use it over traditional cameras? For me, before I answer that question, don't get me wrong, and this is a bit of disclaimer. I'm still a believer of traditional cameras. I'm still a user of traditional cameras. I have my GoPro and I have my the usual DSLR camera to shoot, and I feel like these are still relevant. And for me, 360 cameras are more of how to complement these tools to make your content, to make your videos more engaging. And uh, we're gonna talk about it this part right here. So first, what is the pros? The It's actually small and portable. This is just basically what are the features I've mentioned earlier. All those are pros for a 360 camera. So let's just say I'll wrap that up and put this on the first item here. And I won't talk about it anymore because it's pretty obvious. It's small and portable compared to your 360 to your traditional cameras, which you need lenses and all the bulky um, things that you need to bring. Next would be the constant feature updates. So constant feature updates, I'm referring to the firmware and the application uh, updates. Because, for example, for 360 cameras, since um, you have an image or a video of the whole of a 360-degree image and video, they have the freedom to do whatever they can do to that image. Like, for example, when this was released, the 1R was released, the low light capability was not that good. But after like a month or last month, they had a firmware update, and the low light capability was really improved. That it looks like taken professionally with a very good DSLR low light sensor. And not just that, there are lots of things that they can do with it, because if you compare it with a traditional camera, if you shoot a video, and if let's say, for example, a basketball player, you're shooting a basketball player who's um, dribbling, right? A basketball player who's dribbling a ball, obviously. If you're shooting it with a traditional camera and just you frame the person in the middle, then it's just like that. You can't do anything about that once that is done. But with if you're shooting it with a 360 camera and you have an update where the camera can track the ball instead of putting the player in the center of your screen, you want the camera to track the ball bouncing. And you have this, I think you can see this maybe on uh, videos right now, dancing videos, right? Like the camera is like following the movements of the dancer. This kind of stuff, this can actually be done easily on a 360 camera, because for a traditional camera you would have to shoot like a really wide like a 4K resolution of the dance, and then they can use or it's either you can do it manually. They can use a gimbal to follow the dancer. So that's a lot of work. But if you just have a 360 camera, then you just let the software or the AI track the ball bouncing. So there are lots of updates every month that they're releasing. They're trying to make all uh, the if there are some bugs, they try to fix it. So there's a constant feature updates, and that's just one of the examples that of how you can upgrade. Because if you on a traditional camera, you can't really update unless you upgrade your lenses. So yeah, sometimes it's a limitation for the traditional cameras. And third one would be shoot once, multiple output. As I've mentioned earlier, for aspect ratios, you can really share this to multiple platforms on a different output. So you're just not limited if you're shooting. You go to a place and then you shoot your video on your phone vertically, which is a no-no for videographers. And then you want to share a vertical video to YouTube, or even show it on your TV. It doesn't look okay, right? You don't. Some people are just irritated with watching vertical videos. They only look good on your smartphone, but if you play it on a TV or a flat screen, it just looks bad. But with 360 cameras, you can just adjust whatever the output you want, and that will be shown later on the editing part. And let's just go quickly with the cons. Yeah, obviously, since it's small and portable, it's prone to scratches because you're putting it in your pocket where your keys are, you're putting it in your pouch or your bag where all of your whatever stuff you have there. And since it's small, overheating may be a problem. And I will not deny this. I
it's not really overheating, but it's just the heat dissipation for this camera. Since it's small, then it's having a hard time controlling the heating issue. And if there's a cold air touching the lens, and physics with physics, you have cold air here and you have a hot uh, a camera, then what happens? Condensation happens. It could show moisture inside your lens, which ruins your shot. And that happened to me a lot of times. If I'm shooting like around 15 to 20 minutes straight, then and I'm shooting like near a river or a beach or something with cold environment, then I would have this fogging or moisture inside, and that's really an issue. I would say that's something that they really need to work on. And yeah, you just need to take care of it. Lots of people posting on groups that, oh, I scratched my lens. And yes, for this, actually, it's if you put this down on your table, no, this is not, this is a no no. You don't put this down like a GoPro or a traditional camera, because it would scratch the lower screen, a lower lens. So you'd need this cover to put this on both sides, and yeah, that's safe now. So you need to remember that one. And second one is, as I've said, there are constant feature updates. There are also a downside to this, because it could result to compatibility issues for each device. We have different devices. It could work on an Android but not on the iPhone, or the other way around. Or it should be working before, but since you didn't update your OS to the latest one, then the new features won't work. And all that stuff, that's really common. Just like how Apple's machines are. If you, right, MacBooks and all that stuff have all that problems. And this is not an exception to that. So you just need to, I hope they can fix anything that would result to another issue on their feature updates. And yeah, that's a reality on this digital world right now. And lastly, before we go into a break, I think we're halfway now. It's the cinematic limitations. Yes, I've said I'm still a believer of traditional cameras, and um, I still want to shoot. I mean, this unless you use a professional grade 360 camera, you can use this for professional work. But I won't. I think this one is just for fun right now. This is just for creative, uh, like TikTok style of footages, not really for uh, professional business. If you're shooting for a client, unless you buy the professional grade 360 cameras. But yeah, the cinematic limitation I'm referring to here is like the depth of field. If you know prime cameras, those are with apertures reaching to f1.2 to 1.4 to 1.8, which blurs the background. So for films, this is really a good shot when you have person that's really in focus and the background is just blurry. And that's really cinematic, and that's something that this cannot do, because it's mostly gonna be a flat image. Yeah, and that's it. I'm only citing three pros and cons because I don't want to be putting out lots of things in here on this slide, and there are lots of other things that make I won't be discussing here. But this one are just based on my experience and based on what I feel, how it is to own a 360 camera and own a traditional camera. Okay, so I think we've reached the halfway of our class. We've done the get to know. Then, before we start with the workflow tips and hands-on editing and sharing, I think we can have a short break, and I'll pass you back to Dana, Miss Dana. Whew.
Wow.
How was it?
Thank
How
you
was it?
very much, Koya. 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 So thank you very much, Kuya. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed Kuya's first part of the session, We will be having him again later, so I will just have to say goodbye to Kuya for now.
Mhm.
Okay, so in this juncture, I will be calling out to another member of Project Batang Hilongosnon. She is my co-founder and the logistics team head of our organization. She will be presenting to you um, the part the organization as a whole, and she will be inviting you to our events, and we will be giving you more information about the organization and our operations. So please welcome my sister and my co-founder and the co-founder of Project Batang Hilongosnon, Ana Marie Perez. Hello. Where is your video? Okay. Let's just okay. I think she's here. So yes, Anne, hello. Are you there? You're on mute. Okay.
Yes, ate, um,
Okay, so let's give
wala.
it up for
Okay.
Anna.
Dog. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I am Anna, co-founder and logistics team head of Project Batang Hilongosnon, and allow me to give you a brief description of our organization. So, PBH or Project Batang Hilongosnon is an organization that helps our fellow Hilongosnons, most especially our teachers and students in the town. So our programs, but not limited to this, we provide assistance to our teachers by donating band papers and to our students by donating a set of school supplies packages. We also offer free Wi-Fi hotspot to our teachers and students for their online classes. This includes free printing and free use of gadgets, and all these are done through they collected donations and through the help of our PBH hotspot host volunteers. So if you want to donate, you can donate through our the details are in our Facebook page. You can visit our Facebook page through at PBH at project that batang that Hilongosnon or project batang Hilongosnon. So I believe the details will be presented in the screen. Okay. So you can donate through the GCash, the GCash with the details below. Donate through Lilibeth Perez Ingito and with the number that is presented. Through BPI, Ana Marie Hibi Perez and with the details. Next one, please. Through PayPal and through Jaybert Vizcara Jaybert and Land Bank through Lilibeth Perez Ingito, and through Japan Post Bank uh, with the details below. And you can donate also through Palawan Pawn Shop, through Cebuana Luwilier or M. Luwilier, and you can just name it through Bonnie Vina C. Zamora and with with her phone details below. Okay, so if you want to donate, just please check out. If you did not uh, with the details that is presented. Sorry. Also a plug to our incoming activities. Our Ride for a Cause, our first ever Ride for a Cause that will be held on November 14, 2020 at Hilongos. So, however, this is currently open for Hilongos only. This is due this is due to the COVID situation that the municipality is experiencing right now. So if you want to donate, if you want to join or ride for a cause, please check out the details, the registration details to our Facebook page. Also, we will have another webinar session, our PBH Masterclass webinar, next Saturday on October 31, 2020 from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. via Zoom. So if you want to join, you just need to register through our Facebook page. There are the details there available in our Facebook page. So thank you for joining our webinar for today. I hope you will last until the end of the discussion. Thank you.
Sa mga gusto pang tabang, magpadayon lang sila tabang sa mga nanginahal. Kaya ano nang katong kapos ka jud, nanapot sila yung magamit.
Sulti sa mga gusto mo tabang, manaot ko nga kuan daghan ka nga motabang sa mga kataan labi na kay way mga kuan kapalit gadgets.
Ang tabang sila basta na ay ginagmay na lamang nga para makakuan po sa among pag-eskwela.
All right. Thank you very much, Anna, for the introduction to Project Batang Hilongosnon. So, are you guys ready for the second part of Kuya MJ session? I'm going to bring him up again. Hello, Kuya. Oh, you're on mute, Kuya. Okay.
Hi, hello.
Okay, so are you ready? I'm going to give it up to Kuya right now, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the session, and we will have a Q&A session later. We will be answering your questions, so drop them down in the comment section of our YouTube channel and in our Facebook page. So yes, Kuya, let's go.
Okay, welcome back, guys. I hope you had your toilet break, drink your water, and yeah, we're on the second part of our class right now, and I hope you've learned something. You get to know what is a 360 camera and the uses of it and why you should maybe have one. And now I'm gonna be sharing to you the workflow tips for from start to finish, but it's not gonna be an in-depth thing that I need to like shoot right now and edit real time, because that's gonna take a lot of time. Let me just quickly go through what are the tips that I can share based on my experience. Okay, so I actually only have one slide for this part because most of it is gonna be sharing you outside of this PowerPoint presentation. A bit of a hands-on for how to edit and share. So let me go back. So here we're gonna be covering setting, shooting, editing, and sharing. Setting would be how you set up your camera. Shooting is just how you shoot the camera. Editing is like most of the time that we're gonna be spending here. And I think you're gonna be there may be a lot of questions that you can ask during this session. And the sharing is more of how to share your footages and create virtual tours, which are really interesting. I hope you stick up to the end, especially the creation of virtual tours, because it's really interesting. And I think I'm gonna be since yeah, just stick until the end. Okay, so let's go. First would be setting. Um, this is just the usual thing. I'm not gonna be showing to you like all the settings that you can do, but I have here like a question that I want to answer in terms of that is related to this. So we have a question from uh, Leonard Allen Lasquite, which is my silingan. Shout out to my silingan. What specific 360 camera you're using, and any preferred 360 camera for beginners. So I think, yeah, to answer that question, I'm using Insta360 1R. The company name is Insta360, and the model is 1R. They had previous cameras. They have the Insta360 1, the 1X, and the Insta360 Go or something. And this is like their latest this year. I've heard they're releasing another one by the end of the year, or actually next week they're announcing one. But with this camera, I was convinced that it's time to buy a 360 camera because of the upgrades that they've done, and because this camera is not your usual camera. It's actually a modular camera, which what I mean by modular camera is you can it's if you don't need to buy a new set of camera, because this has three parts. It has a battery base that can be detached, and it has the processor unit, or if it's on the PC, it's the CPU, which you can detach, and you have your lens. And what does that mean? It means that you can buy just the lens if you want to upgrade to maybe if they're gonna release a more high spec lens. And actually for this release, they have three lenses that they released. One is a 4K camera. So if you attach the 4K camera to this, it's just your usual GoPro camera. And they also have a 1-inch edition, which has a 1-inch sensor. And what does that mean is it's better in low light. And the footages of that 1-inch edition is just really amazing. I feel like it's good for cinematics, and a lot of people are creating cinematic shots, low light shots, and it's really good. So that's my camera. I would recommend this for beginners. It's because I think it's so easy. It's so easy to use. You can just start it and then start the camera and just start shooting, or maybe just select the video mode, and the default settings are there. I'm not gonna through each of the settings, but there are lots of videos out there that will guide you through the proper settings. But it's not really that hard. The automated settings are good enough to get you started, and just go out there and shoot. So I'm just gonna quickly okay, let me just attach this one. I'm just gonna quickly go through the resolution and the frame rates by default. And the default setting for this is the frame rate is 30 frames per second for a 5K resolution. So it's actually 5.7K resolution. It's more than the 4K. It's because it needs that whole 5K to get the images from all angles. Because if you're talking about 4K for a GoPro or a traditional camera, it's just the 4K all throughout this field of view. That's why they need a 5K for the overall quality of the video. And the frame rate is at 30 frames per second, but you can adjust this. If you want to lower the resolution, you can increase the frame rate to, I think, 100 frames per second, and it has a slow motion feature, which is actually good. And yeah, I'm not gonna go to that details because it's too much to discuss right now. We could set up a separate session for that if you're gonna go in depth with all the settings and the shooting. But I'm just gonna tell you about the selfie stick. I've already told you that this is with the software, it can automatically remove your selfie stick. So right now, it's just how you use your selfie stick. So you can obviously you can make it longer or shorter, but you need to know how close is it. I mean, yeah, setting your selfie stick, you just need to make sure that your selfie stick is aligned to your camera. It should be perfectly straight. But actually for this, you don't need to worry because they actually have a lock here that prevents it from tilting. So if you're going to use a different selfie stick, there's a possibility that your camera will be tilted down, and that means that your selfie stick is not on the blind spot anymore, and it will show just like a normal selfie stick on your smartphone or your GoPro. So that's one thing to remember when you set. Make sure that the selfie stick is it's hidden on the blind spot, which is this part right here. And the lens orientation. So the stitching of the images is not actually perfect. There's not really a perfect, because this one is you only have two lenses, and there's professional cameras have multiple lenses actually, which will make the stitching very close to perfection. But for this, you would actually notice some lines. Let me just quickly show you. Our sample footage for today is gonna be me. It's gonna be me. It's gonna be me cycling around the newest attraction in Singapore. It's called the Changi Jurassic Mile. And if you see here, I'm using the selfie stick actually, and you can't see it, right? So how cool is that? If we want to take a closer look, see here, you can actually see the blind spot or the stitch line, what they call the stitch line. Never mind my face. The stitch line is right here. You can see, so it means this is when I was holding this is the stitch line right here. And it's not perfectly stitched if the image is close to the lens. It's having a hard time if it's closer to the lens, but if it's further, then you wouldn't notice the stitch line, because also of the fact that these are just simple images. I mean, these are plain images. You just have a blue sky, a plain sky. So the more details on the stitch line, the harder it for the software to stitch. So you can see here, since my hand is so close to the camera, it did not perfectly stitch my hand. But here, towards the ground, then you don't even recognize the stitch line. So yeah, that's one of the things that you need to consider. That's why the lens orientation, if you want to talk or vlog with your 360 camera, you must point the lens towards you, and you don't do it like this. See what would happen? Yeah, you guess it right. the tendency is you would have a stitch line right in the middle of your face, and you would be I know it would, your face would look weird, would be distorted. You would look like Two-Face, right? So your nose would be, I don't know, you look like an alien. And yeah, that's just one of the things that you need to consider when you set up or you shoot. And let me just quickly play this through so you can get the experience of how it looks like setting this up. So here, yeah, I'm actually already showing you the reframing feature of the 360. Here, I can reframe what I want to, what I want the footage would look like. If I want, if I want to point it to the sky, if I want to point it to the ground, or if I want to look around, you have the freedom because it's a 360 camera. And I'm gonna discuss that later, more in depth on this editing part. We're still on the setting, so don't get too excited. Yeah, so that's how you set up. It's just very simple. Just turn it on, set your the default resolution frame rate, make sure your selfie stick is straight, and the lens orientation. You need to keep in mind that there's a stitch line right over here. So you need to avoid the stitch line. Next would be the shooting. This is more of the angle and the distance of your camera from your subject. Because for example, if you're shooting this camera close to your face, the tendency would, it would distort your face. If you're shooting it on a lower angle, it would look like your head is really big, right? If you're shooting it from the top angle, then it would look like you're really small. So that's just part of the composition concept of photography and videography. If you know that, then it's easy to apply, but it's something to consider that if you're vlogging with this, you wouldn't want to be talking to it just like your smartphone, because you usually vlog with this, right? Hello guys, what's up guys? But if you're using a 360 camera, since it's a wide angle lens, you don't want to be talking like this, or else your nose would look like your nose would look like really big nose in front of your camera. So you need to consider that. It may require some trial and error. You may want to test it out, then look it up on your screen or your phone. You connect the camera, you can get a preview of what you can see. And the distance. So the closer the camera, then the bigger you are, of course. The farther the camera, then yeah, basically it's obvious. It's just a basic common sense, right? And lastly, the duration. I've mentioned earlier, you need to consider the duration of your footage. If you're featuring an area, my advice is that you keep your footages as small as possible. I mean, as short as possible. And you may want to plan your shooting route. Like, for example, if you're exploring Marina Bay area, you may want to consider it's either you shoot once and then explore the whole Marina Bay for around 30 minutes walking, or you can cut your footages maybe from this point A to point B, then you can cut it to like 4 minutes or 5 minutes. Then you shoot again, then move to the next point B to point C, then cut it. Because the disadvantage of having a 30-minute video over a 5-minute video is it's gonna bog down your editing process, because that would take up a bigger file. So if you're 30 minutes, it may be like a 20 gig file. That's just an example. But if you cut down your footages to 5 segments, then maybe each file would only have 4 gig, and that's easier to work with. So you need to keep this in mind also, the duration. And the more you shoot on a longer continuous time, there's also a possibility that your file could get corrupted. Maybe at the 29th minute mark, your battery is low and it automatically shut down and your footage got corrupted, and that's really the worst thing that could happen to you. Like you just wasted your time and your footage got corrupted. But if you shoot in segments, then at least you have the 4 segments that are okay. Then you just need to redo the last part. Yeah. So that's just as a tip. And also it also reduces the overheating, because if you shoot continuously, it could overheat. But if you take segments and then you rest, let the camera rest for like 5 minutes, then you can finish your the whole route and not having any problem. So that's just some quick tips. Shooting actually is just stick it out and just walk, just go. You don't need to actually keep yourself in focus or in frame. Yeah, that's also one advantage, because if you're shooting, let's just say this is a smartphone or a GoPro, I would need to make sure that I am centered, or my face is not on the borderline of the view. I will be so conscious on making myself centered, especially if you're biking. If you see the footage, I was biking. If I was shooting with the GoPro, then I would have to look at the camera and make sure that it's the right angle is hitting me inside the frame. But with that, I don't care. I can put it in my back. I can wave it around, and later in the editing process, then I can just reframe and make sure that I'm in the center of the screen. So see, shooting is so much easier with 360 cameras, and it will make your life easier. Yes, that's based on my experience, because I have, if you're traveling solo, maybe you need a tripod, a remote control. You set up your camera, you go to the spot, take a photo, and then check if you're focused or if you're a center. Maybe your head is cut off, then you need to take again. You don't have to do that easily. This is just your personal cameraman. Okay, next. Okay, I don't want to waste your time anymore with all those concepts. Let's go to the editing part. This is, I think, the most interesting part. And if before we go through this, maybe you can share this live stream. There's a share button right there on just the lower left of your screen. If you want other people maybe to listen to this right now, please, a share would be really helpful. As you have seen during the break, we're doing this for Project Batang Hilongosnon, and we're actually hoping that we could get donations uh, by this campaign, and get to reach out, spread awareness to people that this project exists and it's helping students to cope up with the current situation right now. Okay, so we don't require you to donate. Just a share would do. It doesn't cost you, and it helps somebody learn a new skill maybe. Okay, let's go to the editing part. So we have actually a mobile app and a desktop studio for Insta360. And yeah, we're going to be discussing keyframes. These are your best friend. You're going to be needing them to reframe your shots. And we're going to talk about aspect ratio and the shot lab templates. So there's a lot of things to cover here. So you need to brace yourself. Okay, I hope you don't have an information overload. So okay. Before that, let's go to the mobile app. So for the mobile app, I will have to share to you a pre-recorded video of me tweaking around the mobile app. So I'm gonna show you a video and just gonna be narrating what is happening. Okay. So this is the Insta360 mobile app. The name of the app is Insta360 actually. Excuse me, let me take a sip. Excuse me. and it's mobile. It's available on iPhone and Android. And actually, just to quickly answer one of the question from 𝗏𝗏𝙗𝙃. Hi, Sir MJ. I don't have a 360 camera yet, but I'm planning to get Insta360 to document my cycling adventures. Would you recommend it for a beginner like me? I have read it requires the use of phones with high specs like iPhone and such to edit shots or videos, but currently I don't have that. Would editing work fine on a laptop with decent specs? Okay, that's a really good question and a good valid concern. First of all, the mobile app thing, I want to be very honest because we this would actually require at least not just the highest high-end specs, not really the high-end specs, but actually just a decent specs. And I think the basis here is if it could at least process, I don't know. I can't really say what are the specs, the specific specs, but I'm using a P30, Huawei P30 right now, and it has the specs here. I don't know. It's I think 4 gig. So without going further to the specs, my answer to that question is, um, the it's better to have those specs than I wouldn't recommend it. Oh, it's okay. You can use any phone because um, it will affect your performance. Actually, the user experience, maybe during the export, during the AI analyzation of your videos. It depends on your processing power of your phone. So obviously, high specs would be better, but I would suggest you can search more on the internet if there's really specifications. Hopefully, I would, if I can, I would like to get back to you. But my direct answer to that is the higher specs, the better, because it would really um, help you with the performance of like editing in your phone. Now, for a laptop, you just need a decent laptop that has at least 8 gig of memory, or yeah, same thing. I would require a higher spec uh, laptop to do this because you're actually processing 5K videos. So if you don't know, some laptops cannot play 4K videos because of this limitation. So it's actually, I have to be honest, you need higher specs if you need to uh, edit faster. Obviously, you can still work with decent specs, but it's going to be slower. So I think SSD would also be very useful to make it faster. So yeah, um, I think let's move forward with our mobile app, like a quick preview of the mobile app. So here, this is their mobile app. Once you open it, you can actually see here featured tab. And it's not just a mobile app for editing your videos. It's also like their social network where you can share your videos or your photos and people can comment, can like. And yeah, let's see some of the people who are actually sharing their footages. Maybe we can open one. Um, this one is really cool. Okay, we have her here, a girl who's trying to strap the camera into the ball and shoot it. And yeah, that looks sad. Like the camera uh, fell off just to get this shot. That's really sad, but just to get the cool shot, she did that. Another one is this, for example, someone posted a video of this hyperlapse at night. I think this is a 1-inch edition because the low light quality is really good. So yeah, this is the Insta360 app. Also, I have some, I think I shared my own videos here. See, I have some tiny planets, and this is one of my edits. So if you notice here, there are lots of likes, 247, and I have 22 comments. Because it's actually Insta360, the official account, also will check your videos, and if they like it, they can feature it on the front page of their newsfeed. So a lot of people will see your video and they can comment or like, and yeah, you get some points. There's actually some points that you can gather here in the app, and you can convert those points into a coupon or a voucher if you want to buy accessories. Another featured video that was selected, that when another video of mine that was featured by Insta360 is this shot, which it got 196 likes, and even they attached a learn this shot icon here if you want to learn how was this taken. So this actually is a flash dash. It's a 𝗏𝗏 template, and it will allow you to speed up like the flash. So this is AI. This is done by AI on the app. See here. Yeah, it looks like I'm running like the flash. So it's really cool. It's really cool feature. I didn't do anything. This is just automatically done by the Insta360. You just need a footage with the camera in your back, and then you just select the 𝗏𝗏 feature. Then you just select yourself, and the AI will automatically analyze the shot, and it will output that video. Here's another shot of a cloning trail. So it's me running around the park with this shot. So what I did here is just to put down my camera in the front of this park. There's a circular area in the park, and I was just running around the camera, and then it's just the AI that was tracking me while I was running and creating those clones. So these are the kind of templates that this camera has. And yeah, it's fun for me as a beginner. You can actually already get some creative shots that are shareable and really fun to watch and share on your social media. And now let's go through the footages, a sample footage that we're gonna work on with our editing tutorial. We have here for this example, I'm just gonna use one footage, and let's try to edit this footage and try to have a different output for a different aspect ratio output, and see what we can do with one footage, and what are the things that I think that would be interesting. Okay, so I've selected the footage, and it looks like this on the mobile app. Earlier, I showed you how it looks like on the desktop. Now this is the mobile app. It is screen recorded, and yeah, see, same thing. I can reframe myself while watching this. Like, I look around and keep myself on the frame. So if we quickly scan through, you can see what the footage would look like. I don't even need to know where my camera is. I just put the selfie stick on my back, and this is the footage. And it looks like a third-person perspective on games. So that's a really cool thing. You cannot do this with the traditional camera, or else you would have the selfie stick sticking out from your back. And here I can actually use this footage for the flash dash template. Later, I'm going to show you how it will be done. Okay, so here we are on the entrance to this Changi Jurassic Mile. Yeah, that's the entrance. And here we have a part right here where it's a long, boring path. So what we're gonna do on the editing, we're gonna speed up that part right there. So as I've told you, here we have the mobile app, we have the desktop studio. I've already shown you the desktop studio. We're gonna be discussing about keyframes. So as I've said, keyframes will be your best friend. It is, if I would explain keyframe, it's a point in your timeline where you can adjust and reframe your shot to whatever you like. And if you have a keyframe here and a keyframe here, it will automatically transition to that. So if you have a keyframe, okay, let's just have a demo on that. Okay, see here, the icon is a plus icon. So what I did here is click on that icon to add a keyframe. So once I click on that icon, it will change to an X icon, which means to remove the keyframe. I hope you can see it on your screen. It's quite small, but at least you get the idea, right? It's on the lower left of, on the lower part of the screen. So once I click the keyframe, notice that some settings appeared on screen. You have here a field of view selector. You have a narrow, linear, wide, ultra wide, and tiny planet. And you can actually select the field of view for this. So I can select I can select which part I want to face. So I click narrow and see it's a narrower shot. This is linear, a bit wider than the narrow. The wide, obviously, you have the ultra wide, and you also have the tiny planet. Yeah. So for each keyframe, you can decide how it would look like. Now, let's try to make an edit from start to the next part of the video. You can also have here the trim sign, which is an icon for a scissor. So for this footage, it's actually 7 minutes long. Then, oh, okay. Next year, I'm actually showing you how to change the aspect ratio. I've discussed about aspect ratio, and here it's a 2.35:1, which is used for cinemas. And I can change it to a 9:16, which is for mobile phones. So I can export actually this video like this, and this is very good for IG stories. I can have a 16:9, which is the normal, the standard size, or a 1:1, which is a square. Yeah, this is a square. So it's good for Instagram. I can actually take a snapshot of this, and you already have a shareable content to your Instagram. Yeah, so you can decide if it's gonna be a tiny planet or what. So okay, let's just do some editing from start to finish. I'm gonna trim this down to, so I've clicked on the trim icon, and I'm gonna trim it down from starting from here up to, okay, yeah, press the trim and then just drag, and you decide up to which part of the video you want to trim. So let me just get through the T-Rex segment. So this is the Jurassic Mile. It's the newest attraction here in Singapore. It just opened 2 weeks ago, and it's more of an display of dinosaurs. And this is just beside the Changi Airport, the world's rated #1 airport in the world. And actually, this left wall, at the other part of that is it's actually the airport side. Okay, so I can trim it right here, so we can cut down the footage from 7 minutes to 4 minutes. You can see here 4:54, 4:50, yeah, around 4 minutes, 5 minutes. So this is the footage that we're gonna be working on. I'm gonna be showing you from start to finish how we can edit the footage and then export it. So let's go back to the very beginning and set our very first keyframe. So you always start with the beginning, of course, and you set a keyframe. So guys, if you have some question about keyframe, I hope I have explained it to you clearly. And if you do, please comment down on the comment section. What else do you want to ask about keyframe? So yeah, let's start with the keyframe here. I want my footage to start with this from here. Okay. Set a keyframe. It's going to be ultra wide. And then next, or actually I can decide if it's another aspect ratio. Okay, let's start with, let's create a 9:16 footage. Then next is you go to the next part of the video. Here, I actually created another keyframe. Oh, actually, I decided to start with a tiny planet. So for the first keyframe, I click tiny planet, and we're starting off with a tiny planet. Yeah. So it will start like that. Then at certain point of the footage, I want it to become ultra wide. So right here, I want to set it to ultra wide, which means from tiny planet, it will transition slowly until it reaches the next keyframe, which is a wide angle shot. So it's zooming in from a tiny planet to an ultra wide shot. You can see here in the timeline below, it's waiting for the next keyframe. Once it reaches the next keyframe, then it will, the next keyframe is an ultra wide shot. And that's how you decide what the next keyframe should look like. Okay, next, here, right over here, I want the keyframe to face to this direction. And then, I want to face it to this direction because this is the entrance. Then in this part right here, I want to speed it up because this one is a long path without dinosaurs. So you want to skip the boring part. So I can add a keyframe, which is me on the center. And then I can select the speed, which has the icon of lightning here, right here. So I can adjust if it's 2 times, 4 times, 8 times the speed. I can just drag the timeline up to which point that I want the footage to speed up until this part right here for the next dinosaur. So after that, let me just skip through the part. Okay, so here we've already done the speeding up. So a quick preview. This is actually sped up, but sometimes it depends on sometimes the app wouldn't show you the actual sped up footage because it will only do it during the export process. So now, next keyframe, we want to look at this dinosaur. We want the camera to pan and keep the dinosaur in frame. So same thing, just need set a keyframe and make sure that the dinosaur is in the center of your screen. Here, you see it's looking at the body. So you can add a keyframe here and then scroll it to the face of the dinosaur. And then, yes, that's it. That's what you wanted. So with this, actually, guys, you are the director of your film. You're the director of your content. You have the flexibility to decide later how it would look like. So I've said, shoot now, compose later. You don't need to compose. Like if I'm doing this with a GoPro, I would have to ride my bicycle and maybe while I pass by the dinosaur, I need to make sure that the dinosaur is in the center of my keyframe until I and I'm not looking anymore at the way I'm cycling. So it's kind of dangerous. So here you don't need to take care of that. You just focus on your driving or where you're going, and just make sure that your camera is on the right spot to be able to get the view of the subject that you want. So that's basically how reframing works. And I think I'm just gonna do it the same thing from this. Once I pass by the dinosaur, I just put a keyframe to face them, put a keyframe, then that's it. Just do this for the whole clip until you reach and from here, another thing that I did is to speed up again this segment where there are no dinosaurs. Speed it up until I reach the next dinosaur, and just put a keyframe to show the next dinosaur. Yeah, so that's it. That's the reframing part. See here, there's a cyclist. I want to keyframe the cyclist so that it tracks the cyclist. Put a keyframe. Then here, put a keyframe again to track the cyclist. And then let's play it back. So this is how it would look like. Okay, so this one is facing up. We need to fix this keyframe. It needs to point down. Yeah, so let's play it back. It should track the cyclist. There we go. See? And now we need to focus on the T-Rex. So same thing. Oh, it's actually pretty cool. I was riding with a selfie stick, and I let the camera pass through the mouth of the T-Rex right here. So see? Rawr. So I put a keyframe here, and then I would want to pan the keyframe to this angle with the eyes of the dinosaur. And when you play this back, it will look like this. So it will look like this. Dinosaur into the mouth. Wow. Isn't that cool? So yeah. And once you export this, and then let me just end up with another tiny planet and then export this. Export. So now here, the export settings. You actually have two options. You can export this as a reframed video, which means whatever you keyframed on the video, it will follow that orientation. So it's a flat video. It's like a normal video, which can be shared to Facebook, YouTube, and all the video platforms. Or you can share it as a 360 video. So if it's a 360 video, it doesn't recognize the keyframes. It's just a video. It's just as it is. And the viewers can actually decide which part of the video they want to look by moving their camera, by moving around your camera, or just scrolling around the camera while it's playing. And I'm gonna show it to you later. For this, let's first export this as a reframed video, And this is the result of that editing. This is the 9:16, and you just put in some music. Pan here, pan there, and then another zoom in, hyperlapse. Next dinosaur. Focus on the head. Then pan to the next dinosaur. And then next one. So imagine if you post it as an IG story, this would really look cool. It's very, it looks good on a smartphone and not on a TV. Track the cyclist. And then into the T-Rex mouth. Okay, isn't that cool? Right? Another cool thing is, as I've said, you have the flexibility to export it whatever aspect ratio you want. So the same footage, I didn't touch anything. I just changed the aspect ratio and I exported it as a 16:9, which is good for screens, just like this. It's basically the same footage, the same arrangement, the same reframing. It's just the aspect ratio. Okay, and that's it. See, one footage, you have two output, and you can do the editing again. Maybe you want another reframing shot, and you can just go back to your edits, just output, just experiment, try different things, different keyframes, and you would have different kind of shots. Unlike if you've shot this on this angle, then you have to work on that, and you don't have any chance of editing that. Whatever you shoot, that's what you get. But here, what you shoot, you can get a lot of things with one footage only, right? So let me know, which one did you like? Is it the cinematic 16:19 or the vertical 9:16? Depends, right? Depends on where you're viewing. If you're viewing it on a smartphone, the vertical one would look good. If you're viewing it on a screen, then the second one would look good. And here, yeah, keyframes, we covered the keyframes, we covered the aspect ratio. And I think we will cover the ShotLab templates, which I think I missed. Basically, there are templates inside of Insta360 that you can use. So it's just, let me just quickly, I think I forgot to transfer the screen recording that I prepared last night into the. Okay, I think I'm just gonna play a video from Insta360's official YouTube.
Hello my friends, Hannah here and welcome back to another episode of Insta360 TV. If you've been on the channel for a while now, you would have seen a few months ago when we launched the 𝗏𝗏, I did a video called No Editing Needed, and we did 5 epic shots.
Yeah. So this is an official Insta360 YouTube channel, and they're posting a lot of tutorials on how
Hello,
to
my
shoot.
friends. Hannah here, and welcome back to another episode of
So let's just
Insta360
listen.
TV.
It's just
If
a
you've been on the
6-minute
channel
video,
for a while now,
and
you
this
would
is
have seen a
basically
few months
how
ago when we launched the 1R.
they have
I did a video
templates
called
inside their
No
mobile app.
Editing Needed, and we did 5
Yeah, as she said, no editing needed. You just need the footage that is appropriate to that template, and then just let the shot lab do the work.
epic shots
This is the stop motion, a time flip,
with little to no editing.
yeah, little
But
to no editing.
2020
Yeah, sorry, little to no editing. So it's exactly for beginners. If you don't want to be editing lots of stuff, then just use the ShotLab templates, and it can give you cool effects, cool camera effects.
has us all a little bit exhausted for a few reasons. So no editing needed shots. I think it's time for a sequel. So we have updated for some epic new features in our Shot Lab in the app. So what we're going to do today is show you 5 more.
Hey, don't stop. Sorry, I'm playing it as 4K. Let's just go 1080.
Hello, my friends. Hannah here, and welcome back to another episode.
So let's just skip to the first camera effect that they're trying to demonstrate on this video. Come on, Hannah, talk to me.
Template in the app, and just like that, you've got the shot. So you're going to mount your selfie stick on your tripod and put everything on an
it's a roll
even
planet.
ground. And make sure there's not lots
And
of
I've used
people
this
around
on the
because you
video.
don't want the AI to mix up the effect. And then step 2 large steps away from your camera, around 2 meters. And when you're running in a circle, make sure that you keep that distance the whole time to make the effect look nice and cool.
And it will look like this.
But wait! Same shooting technique, different effect. Let's switch things up with a parallel planet.
These are templates inside the camera app.
Oh, by the way, if you're new to this channel and you don't have a clue what I'm talking about, basically in our 1R app, you have this thing called Shot Lab, which basically gives you a bunch of templates, so you don't really need to do any editing. So
Thank you,
what we're
Hannah,
gonna do
for
today
doing
is
this.
show you the shooting techniques. You hop in, put them in the template. There's the magic. Just wanted to clear a few things up. Let's get to the rest of the video. So this next effect, I've actually shown you guys on the channel before, but that was the pro version where you need a third-party editing software to do a digital zoom in, digital zoom
this
out.
is the dolly
But
zoom.
this time we are doing the dolly zoom, and it is anybody's game, and it's super, super simple.
Okay, it's my first time watching this video, and it's actually, as I've mentioned earlier, that we're gonna break down the video that I created, and luckily it matched this video that I created. So you have the roll planet, which I shot here, this part right here. So I used that same technique for this footage right here. And for the next shot, the dolly zoom, actually used it right this part of the video. Okay, let me find that part where I used the dolly zoom. It's like you're zooming out. See here? It's like squeezing the point of view, and this is how it's done.
Have your subject in the center frame, and you're going to need a nice background with lots of different depth of field. By that I mean, don't stand next to something flat or an ocean, because then the effect isn't as powerful. So something like this is absolutely perfect. So subject in the center, and then your lovely assistant is going to walk with the 1R vertically on the invisible selfie
So basically, I
stick, and
didn't
begin
have
around
a
1 meter
subject
from your
on my
subject and walk
video,
backwards
but
for around 6 to 8 seconds. Very importantly, make sure that your assistant is walking, treading on eggshells, shall we say. So walk slowly and carefully.
Yeah, it has that effect, very interesting effect. It's like the background is zooming in while you're zooming out.
So with their clone effects.
And another
But we
thing,
wanted to make this easy videos with the videographers getting really
this is
creative
the clone
with
trail. This is
their
what I showed you
clone
earlier.
effects. But we wanted to make this easy for everyone, so we created the AI clone trail. All you need to do is get your selfie stick on your tripod and stand around 2 meters away. You can go around the camera.
Yeah, this is
or
what
go
I
from
did
one
in the
side
park.
to the other, and you can get a little bit experimental. I'll show you what I'm talking about later. But once you do that, you get something like this.
This is just the reverse. So it's really cool. You didn't have to do anything. You just need to shoot the way they instructed it. Use the ShotLab template and it will generate this video.
So next one is to put a quirky spin on any 360 photo. If you go
Okay.
into ShotLab in the 1R app and choose spin view,
Okay,
you
I think
now
that's
have
enough for
8
now. I
different
think you
variations.
got the general idea that there are lots of templates available in the application that you can use, and it can already give you an idea of how to edit your footages, or it can complement to the footages that you have. It doesn't have to be 2 minutes of just rolling planet, and that would be boring. So you shouldn't. Okay, I think I have a technical difficulty with my camera, but yeah, I think that's it for the editing part. I believe I have showed you the how it's done, and you have manually how it's done manually, and you also have a template that you can use to generate creative shots. Okay, so I think I've covered the editing part. Now we're on the sharing, and this is the last part. Before I think the sharing part is just to let you know that 360 photos and videos can be shared on on Facebook and YouTube, and they can detect a 360 photo already. You just need to, you can upload this 360 videos and they can detect that it's a 360 video, and you can just swipe or scroll or click around the area that you want to view. And I think the third one here is the Google Street View and virtual tour platforms. So I guess I just need to, I'll get through this quickly. I think this is the last part before we go to the Q&A. And what I'm going to be showing you, I've shown you the Google Street View earlier. I'm going to show you right now the virtual tour platforms. And it's just one of the virtual tour platforms available. It is, for this example, I'm going to use 𝗏𝗏.co. The site is 𝗏𝗏.co. So what you see here is actually the same footage that I used in editing earlier. This is the same footage. And what I did is, on this keyframe, I extracted a 360-degree photo. And this is what you have. You just need to upload that 360 photo, and you can upload this in this platform, which supports virtual tour. And why is it a virtual tour? Because you have 5 images here. I have an image for this dinosaur. I took a 360 image of this dinosaur right here when I passed by here. So mind you, this is the same footage that I edited earlier, except that I took a snapshot of this particular time and extracted the 360-degree photo and uploaded them to this platform. So here, you can look around the area as well as this one right here. And what I'm going to show you is how to create a tour. A tour is something that would get you from point A to point B. It's not like you're just clicking the pictures. And this is what we're going to do. I'm going to demo you a quick way. Actually, I've done this already. And if you can see here, we have a hotspot right here. It's actually something that you can edit. If I click it here, then it would, oh, oops, wait. If I click here, it says T-Rex left side. If I click it, then it would bring me to this part. So it seems like you are putting areas on the 360-degree photo where your next photo would look like. So if you want a perspective of that angle, then, so basically you just upload 5 photos and connect the dots, connect those photos to each other wherever they are placed in the area. So right here, I've created another hotspot. It's called a hotspot. It's actually, I'm going to show you how it's done later. It's called 𝗓𝙗𝙃. This is the name of the dinosaur. If I click this, and this will bring me to that dinosaur right there. You see? And if I want to go back to the T-Rex, I placed another hotspot here, which is called T-Rex, and it will bring me back to the T-Rex. So that's it. It's a tour. So this is just taken from a 360-degree footage. But if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna apply this in the real world, you would have to shoot. Let's just put it in the real estate perspective. If you're actually touring, giving a tour for potential clients, how the place looks like, then this is what you need to do. If you can just put a hotspot. If you're inside a house, you can put a hotspot for the kitchen. You can put another one for the living room. So maybe you can start from the doorstep. And that's actually what we're going to do. Starting from here, I can actually edit and put a hotspot here. A hotspot is something that will that you can interact with. I can change the size. I can rotate to where it should go. So since I cannot see the actual dinosaur here, then I'll use an arrow instead of the circle. But you can change the image here. You can put a star, or you can put a location. But for this, let me use an arrow. And if I click that arrow, let me name it. What's the dinosaur called? It's an Apatosaurus. Yeah, that's the name of the dinosaur. I think it's what it's called on the info card. Then I will choose to go to another post, and see here I can choose which photo it will go when the user clicks on that hotspot. So I click the Apatosaurus and I click save. Oh, please refresh the page again. I think I've been logged out because I've logged in earlier. Wait a second. Yeah, I need to sign in again. Okay, we're almost done, guys. I think this is the last part that I'm going to be sharing to you. And once we take a break for the Q&A, let me just fix my video. So as I've said, it's the same footage. So far we've already created 2 videos, one with the vertical one and one with the wide angle one. And this is another venue that you can share that same footage. So imagine you have one footage and you can share it to different platforms, different outcomes. And yeah, so let's continue editing. Let's go to my tours, Changi Jurassic Mile, and I want to edit the first part right here. I want to edit this. I want to add a hotspot, put it right here, rotate it to point to this direction, name it Apatosaurus, take an action, go to another post, click the Apatosaurus, and then save. And when you preview this, then ta-da, you have the arrow. If you click this, and it will bring you to the 𝗏𝗡𝑜saurus, right? And you need to link back. If you want to link back to the uh to this part right here, you just put another hotspot, put it entrance, and then action, go to another post, select the entrance, which is the pterodactyl. Okay, there's already a hotspot that exists. Oh, okay. That actually automatically generated the hotspot. So I just need to remove this and delete. Okay. I just need to, because it automatically generated a hotspot, but this is the wrong place. I just need to move this to the right direction. Okay, it should be here. Rotate, going there, and save. So now you have a virtual tour that can get you from point A to point B. Go to 𝗏𝗡𝑜saurus. Oh, wait, this is not the preview. Okay, this is the preview. Okay, go to the entrance. Oh, sorry, this is the editing part. Close this. Yeah, if I click this, it will bring me to the entrance. Then if I click this back, it will bring me to the next tourist spot. So see, if you apply this to real estate perspective, I can use these hotspots to bring the client to one place to another. It will start with the entrance of the house, the doorstep, the living room, go to the bathroom, upstairs, and it's just an immersive experience compared to just uploading photos for a particular estate. And that's actually really happening right now. If I want to browse and explore here, we have this. Let me just, this is a 360. I want to search for tours. Yeah. So this is a tour around this place. And you can see there are hotspots here. View interior of the car. Oh. If I click on the interior of the car, whoa, it's actually really cool. Now you can put some info cards and you can link it to a YouTube video. So it's very informative. Now, if I want to get out of the car, I want to view the exterior and I want to go to another place, which is where? Is there another hotspot here? Okay, I think that's enough. I think you get the idea already that you can put hotspots, you can put info cards around the area if you're trying to sell this area. And yeah, that's how you create a virtual tour. So I think, okay, but I'm just gonna share this quickly because I'm proud of this. It's actually way back in 2014, I uploaded a Google Street View photo of Cebu IT Park. And it's actually very different from now already because I've heard that there's already a building, and yeah, there's already a building standing on this location. So actually I uploaded this. You can see here, Cebu IT Park by Emjae Argallon, Street View, November 2014. And that's actually really cool. There are no 360 cameras yet during this time. What I did is take a photo, a panosphere. That's what they called it. I forgot. You just need to take photo on all angles, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, until you cover all the spots. Then there's software where just stitch all the photos that you took. So right now you just need 2 photos to stitch. Way back, they need to stitch like 5-10 photos to bring you this panoramic. So if you can see, there are stitch lines here that are not perfect, but it does the trick. And you can see this is actually really cool because this one, there's already a mall that's standing here in Cebu IT Park. And there are also other spots that I took and 360 videos. A photo like this one is the Cebu IT Park. What do you call this? The walk. So it's actually the same with the virtual tour. You can click a hotspot. Actually, if I click here, then it will take me back outside the walk. If I click the walk, then it will take me inside the walk. So a lot of us doesn't know that this exists, but if you have a 360 camera right now, you can actually leverage on this platform if you want a tour. So imagine, why would I do this? Just imagine if you're traveling abroad, if you went to Korea, to Japan, and it has a different feeling by just looking at pictures. Oh, I took a photo here, I have a selfie here. It's just so different if you can re-experience the feeling of being there. And this virtual tour would be, I think, the best solution to that. And it's not just for yourself. You can share this to your family, to your friends, that, hey, I've been in this spot. This is what you see. And this is, what you see this is what I saw when I visited this place. So it's kind of cool, right? And there are lots of 360 videos on Google that you can explore. And with that, I think I can end my session. We've passed 3 now, and we can go to some Q&A session. I hope you have some questions that we can discuss, or if not, you can just give your impression with this class, and I hope I gave you something to jumpstart your interest to 360 cameras. So we are done. We can go to the Q&A part. And while I fixed my camera, I think, Dana, can you do some break? I need to have my own toilet break.
Yes, Kuya, thank you very much. That's very comprehensive. And
okay, sure. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Yes. So, while Kuya MJ is having his break, let's go and see some of our clips in Project Batang Hilongos Nun as we do our operations in our town.
Than a long life spent in a miserable way.
1, 2, 3. I've been running from the pain, trying not to feel the same, but it's a shame that we miss again. See, my confidence is shaking and my heart is feeling vacant, so you tried to fill it in. You said I could fix the broken in your heart, you were saving, darling. But I don't know why you're shooting in the dark, I can't feel in nothing. Reason trial for the way I used to be. My head is running miles, round in circles, and I try to finally to light in me. You said I could fix the broken in your heart, you were saving, darling. But I don't know why you're shooting in the dark, I got faith in nothing. Your love, pray for me. trial for the way I used to be. My head is running miles, round in circles, and I try to find a lead to a light in me. You said I could fix the broken in your heart. You're worth saving, darling. But I don't know why you're shooting in the dark. I got faith in nothing.
Sorry, I was on mute. So, hi again, everyone, and welcome back to our live stream. So, basically, Project Batang Hilongosnon is still operating right now. We are gearing towards preparing for our 20th school. We are targeting to give school supplies donations and bond paper donations to all 59 schools of Hilongos. With that, we would like to invite everyone, if you would like to volunteer to our operations, you can volunteer by signing up to our registration forms. Just visit our Facebook page. You may also help by donating not just cash or money donations. You can also send us over in-kind donations such as bond papers, school supplies, or you can also send it over used gadgets like laptop, smartphones, flash drives, so that we can give them over to our students and teachers in the town. So basically, we accept donations through the money gateways that were flashed earlier. You can also visit our page for more information on that. Also, lastly, we accept sponsorships by businesses. If you have a business and you would like to help Project Batang Hilongosnon through your business, you can contact us through our Facebook page, facebook.com/project.batang.hilongosnon. You can visit us and tell us if you would like to help us by sponsoring our operations. You can also reach out to us if you would like to collaborate for example, if you would like to create an event for us for a cause, if you would like to collaborate for a content for us via PBH TV, you can directly reach out to us, and we would love to work with you in order to further this noble advocacy. So I think Kuya MJ is now ready. Let me bring him back to our live stream. Hello, Kuya.
Yes, hello, Dan.
Okay, thank you very much for your comprehensive discussion. Literally, I am now ready to buy a 360 camera. So I'm just really excited to have this Q&A session with you. Let me bring over our reactor for today. We have, okay, I think we are supposed to have two reactors today, but I think they are having a technical problem. They just lost connection. We can wait for them a little bit. Sorry. Okay, I think we have our reactor today.
Hey, Pao.
What's up?
Thank you for sticking until the end.
Right.
The technical problem was fixed.
Right.
So
Just before, right? I had trouble. Sorry for that. Can you hear me?
it's okay. Thank you very much for coming over, Pao. So we're supposed to have another actor for today. It's one of our team, but yes, Hilongos has very slow internet connection. So let's just forgive him for that. I think he will be able to come over if he finally gets his technical problems fixed. But for now, we can start with our reaction together. We will be joined with my sister Anna. She will not be showing her video because of course, Hilongos internet connection. But she will be joining us through voice only. So Pao is also a content creator in YouTube. You can find his YouTube channel. Pao, what is your YouTube
If
channel?
you can find.
Plug it. How can they find you via YouTube, Pao?
Right. Right, exactly. So my name is 𝗏𝗏, right? So that's my, that's just only my nickname. So you can find me on Facebook. Also, you can search 𝗏𝘅𝗃 𝗔𝗴𝗃, right? So that's the name of my page, and it's just only thing. YouTube channel, also Instagram, And right, so feel free to follow me, right, so that you can see the view here in Japan. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Pao, for coming over today, for joining us. So Pao is also a content creator. He is also very fond of technology, and he's also into photography and geography. So he will be representing our experienced bunch today, while Anna will be representing me, and Anna will be representing the beginners in photography and geography. So we can start our Q&A with Pao. Do you have
Right,
questions for
right,
Kuya
I
MJ?
have, right. So, as of this moment, I have to say congratulations for this tutorial, right? Omedetou gozaimasu. Right. So,
Oh my God, we have Japanese
congratulations, right?
people here.
Congratulations. So, I have to say that this is such an inspiration for us beginners slash content creators, right? So, I'm considering buying one instead of GoPro. I have to say that.
Me too.
So, right. So this is, I think, what I need for my contents also. And especially, like, I know the struggle of, you have to stop and then you have
Mm.
to find a perfect angle for this location only. But what I saw from the video, from your tutorial, like, you just, biking, you just passing by, and then you can have that kind of different directions already. So I think this is what I need also for my videos. Anyway, so I only have two questions. My first question is, have you tried editing also your footages on another editing software? Like, for example, Adobe, like Premiere Pro, so that's what I'm using this time, and Final Cut Pro, for example, etc. And my second question is, what are your struggles using Insta360? And that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Those are like, thank you for the wonderful question. Uh, it's MUPC season right now. Who's the winner? Do you know who's the winner? Do you know what I'm talking? Sorry, talking about the Miss Universe Philippines.
Oh,
Oh,
wait.
MUP.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Today?
NUP. So MUP, Miss Bohol and Miss Cavite.
Oh yeah. I
I'm
think that's the. I
outdated
don't know
here.
what's the
Sorry.
news right now. Anyway, sorry for that.
Uh,
But that's a wonderful question, which is a very valid question for this topic, because um, I also missed to highlight that out. And yeah, thank you for bringing that out. Um, for my creative workflow, I actually edit my end product or the final outcome in Premiere Pro. But so what happens is, actually, Insta360 has a plugin that you can import through Final Cut and Premiere Pro that it will support the file types. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for highlighting that. I need to show you. I forgot to highlight this. I'm gonna share to you my screen. This is actually what the file type is for the Insta360. So for one footage, this is exactly the same footage that I was editing and I was showing here in Insta360 Studio app. Uh, you actually have three outputs. There are three files. We have here vid underscore 10 and underscore 00. I think I need to zoom in. How do I zoom in? Yeah, something like this. So the file type is actually .insv. Not sure what does that mean in the Insta360 video something. So there are three files. If you would if we were to deduce what these two files are, it could be the 280-degree footage, right? So this is maybe for the left side and this is for the right side. And when you import it to the stitching software, then it will do the merging. And this here is LRV. So I wouldn't give you more technical details, but you actually have three files which are .insv, and it's only recognizable for using the Insta360 app or the studio. But for Insta360, they also have a plugin that you can install through Final Cut and Premiere Pro that will support this, that you can import. As actually, let me show that to you right now if I can load it quickly. But yeah, what happens is it will give you the freedom also to reframe your shot inside Premiere Pro. So the answer is yes. They have a plugin to recognize this, to detect this in Premiere Pro and Final Cut. But for me personally, I find it hard to to be doing the reframing in Premiere Pro because it's like it adds to the complexity of your editing. What I want to do is first do the reframing and export the reframed video as an MP4. And with those MP4 files, then I can import them to Premiere Pro together with my other MP4 files from maybe from my DSLR, from my GoPro, and from there, sorry, you can just edit the way you usually edit. You're just treating everybody as MP4 and just cut from there. You don't have to worry about, because the main difference is you have a 5K video inside Premiere Pro, and that will slow down your performance inside Premiere Pro because you're having a 5K footage. But if you have a MP4 that you exported from Insta360 as a 1080p or a 2K video, then it would make your workflow faster. And that's my opinion. And that's most of the people that they're doing this kind of workflow for to make it faster, rather than having a 5K inside your Premiere Pro timeline. I hope that answers your question. The next question was,
Is it Kuya, is it okay if we bring out Anna's question first before we answer Pao-Pao's second
okay, sure,
question?
sure. Let's do that.
Okay. Anna, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Struggle is
Balaka
real.
dito, no? Sa internet connection. But
Lagi.
yes, Anna, do you have a question for Kuya MJ? Anyway, Anna is my sister, and once again, she's the co-founder of Project Batang Hilongosnon. So yes, Anna, thank you very much for being here during the Q&A again. So yes, Anne, your question for Kuya?
I'm not really knowledgeable about 360 cameras. I've only just seen 360 features in FB, so I don't really know. But my question, and for those who are planning to buy one, I would just like to ask if how much is the Insta 360 camera, and what are the packages included when you are going to purchase one?
Okay. So
Mupalit
we're
na
gonna.
gid ni Kuya, mupalit na gid ni.
Okay, I don't have
Go,
the
ate.
figures, but
Mhm.
sorry, I don't have the figures, but let's ask Mr. Google. It's easy to Google this. Uh, I have shared my screen, and not okay. Can you show my screen? Actually, if I show you, this is actually in Singapore dollars. It's around 550 for this, and it's already a 360 bundle. Actually, there are, as I mentioned in the shooting earlier, there are 3 lenses available right now. There is a 360 mod. Maybe I think this one, the 620. So based on this pricing, you can see the 550. It only has the 360 mod, and if you want the 4K mod and the 360 mod, it's the twin edition. So it's like around around just $70. Yeah, $70 top up to get both lenses. So for me personally, I didn't buy the 4K mod because I have a GoPro and I don't want to think about switching lenses along the way. It's actually kind of hassle to just to go there and, oh, I want the 4K footage. Then I switch to 4K. Then it just adds to the complexity and the portability that you have with this, because there's a possibility that you drop the lens. So instead of having that problem, I just stick to 360 and I'm just gonna use this camera for 360 purpose. And this is the price difference. If you feel like if you don't have a GoPro, then maybe you feel like shooting a flat video and not a 360 video for a particular event, then maybe you can get a twin edition and maybe just decide from the very beginning what are you gonna use. If you think you're gonna be shooting 360, then put the 360 on. I don't advise switching lenses while you're on the road because it's kind of hassle. But you have that option that you can switch, which is really good. And if you want the 1-inch edition, it's actually quite expensive. The 1-inch, I think this is it's actually the 1-inch edition mod is actually really pricey. I think this is the 900 one with that 1-inch mode. Because the 1-inch mode already costs like around 400. So it's actually priced almost 70% or 80% the whole camera. So yeah, that's it. But if you compare this to a GoPro Hero 9 has been released. You see, it's around $599. It's basically just the same price range as a GoPro, but for GoPro, it's a traditional camera. You have 680, 744, so around the price range. They're basically the same price range. You can get the twin edition with the price of a GoPro. And also, let me check the GoPro Fusion, which is the 360. Yeah, this is a 360. So see here, their 360 camera is priced around 1,000. This is their 360 version. So if you're just focusing on 360 if you're comparing 360 to 360, the Insta360 is much cheaper than the GoPro 360. And yeah, so that's it. That's the price range.
I think it's very affordable though.
Yeah, actually, it's true. And the one that really sold me into buying this brand, it's because of their app. Like they have the most advanced app right there, right now. And yeah, you can just create stuff without doing anything. As I've shown you, right? I've only shown you 3 examples, but their shot lab has around 10 right now. So you can just mix and match whatever you want and you already have a video. You already have a montage.
Oh my gosh, we lost Papa again. I think he had technical problems again. So it's okay. I think he will be back soon. So I will just put him up when he's back. So yes, we have a question. So basically, our another reactor who is from Hilongos, who is our team, cannot connect to the cannot join our live. So he's watching via Facebook Live. So he sent us his question.
Uh-huh.
So hello, Ken. Shout out to you. Thank you very much for sending your question over.
Hello.
So Ken Kuya is our graphics designer in the team. He designs posters for us like Photoshop and then Canva. So he's also very techy. So I think that's why I think he's very interested with your masterclass. So hi, sir. I've seen some 360 camera used for astrophoto. I don't know what astrophoto is, but such as capturing the Milky Way galaxy. Whoa. Are there also pro modes, sir, when using the camera, like the ISO, the shutter speeds? Okay, Kuya. Okay, Kuya. I cannot handle this part, so give it away to you, Kuya.
Okay, so to answer that question, yes, I also missed this one. Yeah, so basically, this is just a quick run through. And yes, there is a manual settings. I'm sorry if I've just run through this. I just told you that there's you can just shoot use the auto auto settings, then shoot. But yeah, I'm glad that we have some techie guy, or not techie guy, the one who knows how to tweak around the camera. Yes, there is a manual setting. You can set your ISO, all the shutter speed, and even if we watch this video, how to shoot. Okay, let's just watch this video. Let's just quickly run through this video because there's actually a
Good day, folks. Today's video is going to be a
𝗏𝗏
tutorial on how to
template, I
create
guess.
star lapses.
So to answer your question, yes, there is a star lapse that they call star lapse or star trail feature using the Insta360 ONE-R.
Even star trails on your Insta360 ONE-R. Insta360 has made it very easy to capture star lapses.
And this lens actually is what I've highlighted earlier, that I think they used the 1-inch edition, which is a 1-inch sensor. It's a bigger sensor, and it's good for low light photography and videography. So yeah, let me
Insta360 ONE already.
Yeah, I think for this video he's using the 1-inch edition, and there's a way to edit also.
Export it into something like Lightroom if we want to do editing of the image sequence. But
so see here, I think if I think time lapses, the manual way of time lapses, basically it captures photo every an interval, like it could be an exposure of 30 seconds and then for a duration of time. So you see here, what he did is imported those individual photos to Lightroom or an app and stitched all the
really
photos.
Nice thing is that we can do all the video processing right within the app. And that's one nice feature of the Insta360 app compared to the GoPro app. If you film a photo star lapse or night lapse, you have to use third-party apps and a computer to put it
So it's supported on the app
with the
itself.
Insta360 ONE-R, you can do everything right within the Insta360 app. So back to the tutorial here. So as I've shown you, you can actually go through and select each one of these images throughout the night, and we can export it as a single image. You can see there, I just exported that. If we go to our camera roll, you can see there we now have the photo that we just exported. But let's go back to the Insta360 star trails. For now,
they have a
check mark.
They have a
now I've already rendered mine, but at this point you're going to see yours rendering. And we have this option here. You can see it says star trails. For now, let's keep it off because we're just going to export as a regular star lapse. Once it's done rendering, we're going to click on this export button here. And we can now just do a direct export to our camera roll just by hitting direct export. But if you find sometimes a little bit of cloud adds a little bit of mystery.
So you see, this is the exported outcome.
So at this point, now all we have to do is hit the export button up here.
And you have an option to turn on the star trail if you want.
Preview the star lapse that we just created.
That's really good.
This one's kind of nice because we're video manual. We'll do a different. So yours edits that we want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the star trail. So it's actually done by the software itself. You don't need to. It's just a simple checkbox if you want a star trail or a star lapse.
Okay, thank you very much, Ken, for that question. I think Kuya Emjae was able to answer that. So if you still have other questions for all our viewers today, you can send them over by just commenting them in the comment boxes below. So I think we lost Anna again from the technical problems, Kuya. So both Anna and Pao are currently experiencing technical problems right now. So it will be just me and Kuya. But basically, I have Anna's question right here. She sent him over to me. So another question from Anna, Kuya, is that would you recommend to only have 360 camera without the assistance of other cameras if you're going to go vlogging or if you're going to create content?
The answer is no, but you're not limited to, I mean, basically, yes, you can do that. But if you're really creating quality content, I would say that um, the traditional cameras still produce a better video in terms of also because a content is not only a video, it's both video and audio. If you're gonna that is the basics in producing content. So I think but there's also a way to do that. There's actually like some adapters that you can put into the camera so that you can put an external microphone to improve your audio. So I think if the quick answer is yes, you can. If that's the only camera that you have, please as much as possible just make use of it. You don't have to buy another one. If you have to choose, I think I would just go to this because you can produce both. It's just that anyway, if you're not really buying on the expensive DSLRs, then you don't have to worry about really creating some very good audio if you're not doing it professionally. If you just want to bring out some content, if you just want to post something that's especially the one that I've showed, right? It's not just about the video, it's about creating virtual tours, creating a good a 360 photo of a place. It's not just limited to that. There are lots of things that you can explore with this camera. So I guess given that advantage, for me, it's actually okay to just use this camera.
Because Kuya, you know what? Sometimes, a lot of people cannot afford to buy all. Like,
yes,
a lot of people cannot afford to buy DSLR. A lot of people cannot afford to buy GoPro, like something like that. So it would be great to have one gadget for everything, and that's also affordable and that has a lot of features. So yes, for
Yes.
people who are very financially conscious, so as Kuya have said, 360 cameras are also a better choice because it has almost everything. So I would like to bring Pau-Pau's question again earlier. He asked for your struggles as a user of 360 cameras.
Yeah. Okay, this is a good question because I don't want to be preaching too much about this camera that it's all good, it's all the hype is real. If personally if you visited Insta360 forums and communities, there are lots of complaints about the camera, and they are valid complaints. One is the fogging issue, which is, as I've said, when the camera gets hot and you have cold air hitting the lens, it could build some moisture could build up inside the lens, and it would show up actually in the camera. Actually, this is the last footage I shot for the day, and if you see, let's try to find it. There's a spot here where there's a moisture. You can actually see the moisture, and it will blur out the part. I think this part right here, this is actually kind of blurry, and this is actually starting to build up some moisture in the lens. So sometimes it will ruin your shot. Yeah, I think that part right here, there's a spot where, yeah, this spot is blurry compared to this. If we want to, yeah, okay, if I zoom in, this spot is blurry because part of the lens has the moisture, and this is a valid concern. There are a lot of Insta360 users that are very disappointed with the company because they feel like this is a production issue. Because why GoPros doesn't have this issue? That's the main reason why I'm still using my GoPro, because it's really they have lots of iteration already, and they have like optimized everything. They've perfected the action camera thing. You can use GoPro for hours and hours. You can dive into the ocean, skate on the ice. It still doesn't have this issue, but this one has that issue. So it's one of the first issue, the struggle that I have. I would have to take a rest like after 10 to 15 minutes of shooting, that making sure that the camera is not hot enough for the next segment of the video. And yeah, that's one. I think the second thing is, one of the cons that I featured is the probability of getting it scratched. And yeah, I had a slight scratch on this because I forgot. I placed it in the bench, and when I was sitting, it kind of moved a little bit and it scratched the lens. And once you scratch the lens, it's no way of getting it fixed already. Once you break the lens, it's another cost. But the good thing is, you wouldn't have, because it's modular, you don't have to buy the whole camera itself. You just need to buy the lens. So as I've mentioned, it could just cost you like around half or like 30% of the total price of the lens, of the whole camera. Rather than having a whole GoPro and scratch the lens, then you would have to buy another GoPro. So I think that's it. That's the two struggles that I have. Another thing is, what else? So far I haven't mentioned, but this camera is waterproof. It's also an action camera. There are underwater shots with this camera, and they're good, but I wouldn't dare. I haven't tried it underwater, and I don't need to get underwater shots because it's not really that my forte. If I'm a scuba diver or a swimmer, then I would use this. But there are no reasons to submerge it to water, please just don't submerge your electronic devices to water. They're just their enemy. And even if they say that it's waterproof, some cameras, they're complaining that they had an issue. So it's just the way they handle that device. So I wouldn't recommend that. Okay, so I think what else are the struggles? I think that's it. It's more of the fogging and the scratching of the lens, because yeah.
Okay, thank you, Kuya. So, Pao, I hope you're watching right now and you've heard Kuya MJ's answer with your question. So, one question from me lang gid, Kuya. I am a fan of open source. Like my laptop is if I'm my laptops in the past are in Linux. It runs on Linux.
Wow.
So would you I think the applications that you're running right now, it runs on Windows and
Yeah.
iOS. So,
Yeah.
do you think there are problems when it comes to running them on a um, Linux operating system? Because if I buy this one someday, I'd probably be running them on Linux. So I would really want to know.
I actually, to be honest, I've never heard of I think my answer right now would be I don't think so, because like right off with their website they specify so Windows or a Mac, and I haven't really tried working around with Linux. And what are the open source software that they have, if it's really, if there are lots of apps right now, and it's a really techie thing.
Yes, actually, I'm. That's the only thing I'm worried about because during college days, I used to use Linux operating system, and I've
Wow.
struggled. I've really struggled a
Yes.
lot with our applications for school,
Yes.
for my presentation. So every time I buy something or I use a software, I would always want to know if it's okay to use it in my operating system because I would definitely be struggling a lot. So, well, that's
Yeah,
one thing I would need to take note, Kuya, no?
yeah. I mean, eh, creating an application or software is based on the demand also, like how many people are really using Linux. So if a particular thing is being used by majority of people, then I know people would create an open source software that's compatible with Linux. But I'm not sure for 360 cameras if the demand is there yet, and so that they need to create one for Linux. So yeah, I think it will be a struggle for sure.
Good luck to me.
Yeah.
So, one last question from me, Kuya. What do you think is the future of 360 cameras? I mean, we've seen the capability of 360 cameras. We've seen the effects, the amazing features that it has. What do you think is the future of it?
The future is now. Just kidding. No, actually, I'm still amazed about 360 cameras because I think one example is during the drone revolution. I think years ago, there are only limited people who owns a drone. Maybe it's just for filming. It's just for a specific field, like maybe a medical field or in the army. But right now, drones are widely available in the market. Anyone can fly drones, and it's very consumer friendly right now. And I think this is the time for 360 revolution also. Anyone can own a 360 already, and it's consumer friendly now. Uh, Before, there are bulky 360 cameras, and actually what other people did was like they actually manually created, for example, GoPros. They created GoPros like pointing at each direction and let the software stitch it. But now you only have one camera to do it all. So another thing that what they did is there's actually a mod that you can attach 360 camera on a drone. So if this is a drone, then you have two lenses, right? One lens would be right in the bottom and one would be above. And with that same yeah, okay, let's just imagine this is a drone. You have two lenses here. With that same um concept that I've discussed, then you now have an amazing tool. Like um previously, if you fly drones, you need to be a good pilot to keep the subject in focus. So your camera is right here as a pilot, and if you have like uh, an action sport, like for example motocross, if that motocross is going through some jumps, you need to be a good pilot to follow that person, right? But with 360 cameras, you don't, as I've said, you don't have to worry about your composition. You just need to fly near the person that's doing the action and just reframe the shots. That's why you see some videos right now that are very stabilized and all the action are there. It's in frame, like maybe skydivers or paragliders. They kept the person in frame. It's because it's actually shot with 360 cameras attached on a drone, and that's two revolutionary technologies in one. So yeah, I think 360 camera is just not it's something that you can combine with different things. It's something that once you combine this with another technology, it produces it produces a whole new experience. And yeah, I can't wait for the future of 360 also. Oh, okay, another thing, that's why I'm saying the future is now, because it's actually really happening, but it's just the people are not aware. 360 cameras also are used to map places. No, it's used to map, like for example, for in the architecture field or engineering field, like you put a 360 camera that is an advanced camera with infrared and all that technology, and you just put it there, and it can actually measure the distance between this spot to the room. And after scanning everything, it can actually generate a 360-degree architecture design of a house with all the correct measurements. So that's actually good if you're doing a 3D model of a building. You just put your 360 camera, put it in all the places, and let them stitch, and you can actually have a model of a house or a building, or even that's it. It's actually good. It's actually a good technology.
All right. Thank you very much, Kuya, for answering the question, for comprehensively answering those questions. Those were very hard questions,
You're welcome.
especially the struggles. Oh my gosh. So anyway, Kuya, this will be the end of our Q&A session. I think that's all from our viewers and from our reactors. So, do you
Thank
have
you.
a closing statement for all of us, for everyone that has that tuned in today to your masterclass?
Okay, first of all, I think I would have to give a disclaimer. Like, um, even though my point here is to introduce you to 360 cameras and all the good stuff, there are still bad stuff that can happen and then that are out there. So I would suggest that you do your own research based on what you've learned right now. You've double confirm, you verify, and you just watch YouTube tutorials about this just to top up what you've learned right now, and you will see some channels, some reviewers would actually highlight you the cons and the bad side of this and their experiences, and so that it will complement, it will give you the sense if it's gonna be worth it that you're gonna buy, because um it is your money, right? It's your hard-earned money. I don't want to be just asking you to buy this. It's so cool, it's so cool, but you need to learn the consequences, and not really the consequences, the things that you need to do before you buying. Just do your research, and as I've said, a disclaimer also that since this is something new, this is a new technology. It would require some higher specs of power on your machine or your mobile phone. So I don't want you to be hyped up in buying, but you didn't do your research if it's compatible to your phone, or does it yeah, you can just search for any forums for answers to that. So please, number one, do your research, and number two is um be open-minded. It's not just the Insta360 that I'm talking to about. Uh, Search for other for other 360 cameras out there. Do a comparison. Do a check, and also there are new cameras launching every month, every year. So you don't have to rush. You can wait. Sometimes they release a better version of a camera, and yeah, sometimes it's also th- the patience of waiting also pays off because it's actually a better one than what we have right now. And for Insta360 themselves, they're actually launching a new camera on October 28th. Oh, I'm plugging. And that's the same feeling that I'm feeling right now because I just bought this like 3 months ago and there's a new camera. But I just really hope that it's catering to a different field, or I just hope it doesn't overlap with this camera. Sometimes there are cameras that are specific for this purpose and cameras for this purpose. So for me, as long as I can just take the videos that I want, then it's good enough for me. So that's it. Be open-minded. Don't stick to one. Just do your research. And the third one is just continue learning. um, just to complement the three items, research not just about the 360, but also the editing process, the sharing process, and join forums, join communities, learn from their mistakes, because sometimes people don't read the manual. I don't read the manual. I just listen to reviews. I just listen to unboxing videos, and they themselves can give you the tips, the 10 things you need to do before buying a camera, the 10 things you wouldn't want to do with your camera, all that stuff. Be Yeah, that's it on the class. Before I end up formally end up the class, I would like to thank everyone uh, for watching this webinar. If you're watching this on a replay if you're watching this on a later time, I hope this is still useful to you. And I hope that um, even if you watch this on a later time, you could still support the cause of Project Batang Hilongosnon. Um, you just visit the page. Maybe the donation details would change from what they flashed today, but just visit the Project Batang Hilongosnon. Give it a like, especially for those Hilongosnons out there. This is for you. This is for our town. Please, you can do, if you can't really help personally, you can maybe help financially, and if not, just a simple like and share and subscribe to the YouTube channel of Project Batang Hilongosnon will really bring the awareness to spread out the cause. And I hope more webinars will be done in the future, and more people will be aware of this, and more people can share their skills to other people for free. And as well as, because if you're giving your skills for free, you would want to voluntarily help also to the people that are struggling right now in the pandemic. And I think that's it. Before I think you can follow me on my Facebook page. It's at MJ Photos. It's the same for my YouTube, my Instagram, and my Facebook. And soon I will be uploading videos to further maybe in-depth uh, knowledge about 360 cameras. So I want to follow up on this because I've already started this one, and I'm thankful for Project Batang Hilongoston for dragging me to this webinar. Um, I now I kind of feel like comfortable talking, so what might as well just continue this, teaching you some tips and tricks about 360 cameras and maybe photography and videography in general. So please um, follow us, follow Project Batang Ilocos, and follow MJ Photos.
Yan. Thank you very much, Kuya.
Thank you so much.
So I would like to proceed because we are very thankful that for having you today. Actually, for all our viewers, actually, Kuya MJ is the very first person that I've approached to when it comes to the PBH webinar masterclass. And as a Hilongosnon, I'm very glad. The whole Project Batang Hilongosnon team is very glad to have him as our speaker of our masterclass today. So thank you very much, Kuya. And with that, I would like to proceed into giving you our, why is it loading? Anyway, giving you our certificate of appreciation from Project Batang Hilongosnon. This certificate of appreciation is presented to Kuya Emjae Argallon for being the resource speaker of PBH, the Masterclass webinar series on Introduction to 360 Cameras, given today, the 24th day of October, signed by myself, the co-founder and the overall project manager of PBH. So thank you very much, Kuya, and virtual.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is mine. Thank you.
So basically, you can follow Kuya by going to YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Just look for MJ Photos. That's EMJAE So you can check out a lot of Kuya's photography, videography content. Like they're awesome. So you guys need to check this person out. Like literally, he's been in this passion project for years now, and it would be really great for you to see his creation. So thank you very much, Kuya.
Thank you so much.
Bye. So everyone, thank you very much for watching our PBH masterclass today. Basically, we are doing the PBH masterclass webinar in order to raise more funds for Project Batang Hilongosnon, and because we are targeting to donate to all 59 schools of Hilongos. We are currently donating school supplies to students. We are donating bond papers to our teachers. We are offering services for free Wi-Fi, free printing of schoolworks and free use of gadgets in our PBH hotspots. So if you would like to help us, just reach out to us by visiting facebook.com/project.𝗏𝗏 And we also are accepting volunteers for our operations, especially now that we are kind of full with all of the events. So just reach out to us. We are also accepting sponsorships. We are also accepting a lot of we are also open to donations and in-kind and money donations. So thank you very much, everyone. And I hope that you enjoyed today's masterclass webinar. Again, if you would like to hear more from Kuya MJ, just look for him in Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at MJ Photos, 𝗔𝗵𝗲𝗍𝗍𝗔𝗐𝗍𝗔. And you will see a lot of his amazing and awesome works through there. So once again, I would like to thank you all for tuning in today's PBH #Masterclass webinar series, Season 1, Emjae Argallon's Introduction to 360 Cameras. And that's all for today. And I hope you had a great time.
Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent.
And together with the core team, we go to shopping.
Hi, I'm 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, the co-founder of Project Batang Hilongosnon. I'm one of the core team and I'm team head of the logistics committee.
Hi, I am 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. I'm part of the core team as a team leader for the Committee on Accounting.
I'm 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, assistant team head of the accounting committee.
I'm 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, and I'm the public relations team head, and I'm a member of the core team.
I'm Queen Cherylke, and I am a member of the core team and also the team head of the public relations team.
Hi, I'm Luigi Laura, and I'm under PR team, specifically on fundraising activities.
I am Rina Princess Yan. I am a member of the logistics team, and I am a PBH volunteer.
I'm Helen Zamora, a member of the team volunteer.
It's like the backbone of its operations since we do the repacking, the shopping.
You are in charge with all the money matters,
Budgeting the money.
and together with the core teams,
We go to the barangays, we go to the schools, and we do the distribution ourselves with PBH.
The public relations role in this organization is to promote on social media through posters, photos that can gather around donations.
Me personally, I am handling the videos. I am the one who takes videos during institutions, and I'm also the one who edits it and uploads it online.
PBH was created to solve a problem, and this problem is the obvious gap that students and teachers experience under the Philippine education system.
I want to extend help to the children of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, mainly for 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, but it was just a simple SK project since I'm an SK
councilor of my barangay. Because of some circumstances, it wasn't possible. So I approached my sister about this idea, and she also had the same initiative. So we kind of started PBH that way.
PBH will help bridge that gap, especially during this pandemic, so that our students and teachers will be able to grow and move forward in the academic year.
It's because I grew up in Ilocos, I've grown to love Ilocos, and
I've always lent my hand to international organizations. However, recently, I've realized that I should start localizing my help. I should start catering to people who are near me because they also need help.
It's where I want to start working on helping other people.
Those people who are from my own Ilocos.
Can help one another. It is a big opportunity ng makatabang ta ang atong time sa dili sa sayang kaya naman tayo padulungan sa atong hatag nga oras.
I think it is important for Ilocosnos to support initiatives like this organization is making because it does not only empower the school, the teachers, the students, but also it strengthens the bond between the community of Ilocos.
The support of our own Hilongosnon is very vital to the operations of PBH because the organization itself runs through donations, and if you have something to donate, then do not hesitate to help.
What the longest means right now is
Compassion.
The longest means the initiative.
having a part of PBH.
I'm genuinely happy. I'm happy to say.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I'm very glad to be part of it.
Yes, I am very
We need your help in this project because basically our project is run through donations. So the more you donate, the more we can help the kids or schools, especially the minority, since they are being left out in these current times, in these trying times, and we don't want them to suffer more. We can get through it all.
And ayun lang, and continue to strive, and together we can fulfill this.
Dahil lang ba sa pagtapang sa mga salantingan?
They continue to step forward, have the initiative on helping other people, especially when it's about education, since children are the foundation of the youth. So it's way better for us to start helping the kids, extending help to the kids have the quality education that they deserve. My main message for them is that have the initiative to help other people. I'm very grateful for the volunteers that we have taken the step to extending help to the people, the children of the world. It would be very hard. It would be way harder than we have imagined as we established PBH if it's not for them. So they have played a very crucial role in the PBH operations. If they wouldn't have been there, we would not have help. We would not have any help in the distributions, in the repacking. So they are very important to the PBH.
For those who would like to help and to extend their helping hands, I hope you will continue to help and you will not doubt yourself in helping because helping is a good thing.
If you have something to spare, may it be money, gadgets, or school supplies, then the privileged, very happy.
Ang mga ganahan mo tabang kana. Tabang ng mulay. Ako ka jud tabang. Dako ka jud mo gamit. Bisan gamay ra inyong muhatag.
Our donors, sponsors, and supporters,